In this video, we're going to talk all about the Monstera Deliciosa. I'm going to be giving you guys an update on the 2 Monsteras I've had for the last year, as well as share my care tips when it comes to light, soil watering, and fertilizer. And then we're going to go through repotting this little baby right here, which is a Thai Constellation Monstera. Stay tuned. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you're discovering this, my name is Christian, also known as a Crazy Plant Guy, and I mostly do plant videos on this channel, but sometimes I'll do vlogs, sneakers, or reaction, but lately it's all about the plants. That is because I'm a plantaholic, and if you are too, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you want to be part of my everyday jungle life, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Crazy Plant Guy, that is me. That is where I am pretty much every day, all day, doing daily posts as well as daily vlogs on my Insta story, so be sure to check that out. So what I wanted to do with this video is actually talk all about the Monstera Deliciosa. These particular houseplants have become the most popular houseplants probably the last couple of years. I would say the Pelia, the String of Hearts, the Bird of Paradise, those are starting to definitely climb up the ranks. Anyway, in my books they are. But these plants have become so popular. I've seen them in restaurants, hotel lobbies, offices, on art, and now on clothing prints. So I think that's pretty cool. They are known to have these split leaves that you see here, and sometimes they'll have a lot of holes depending on how mature your plant is. But this particular one I have here is the one I got from Walmart. If you guys have not heard that story out, I'm going to provide a link to that video. It is actually one of my first plant videos, but it talks about the Monstera I found at Walmart unexpectedly, and he was not this size at all when I got him about a year ago. When I actually got that Monstera, he was about this size. Ta-da! So this guy is actually my first Monstera Deliciosa, and when I first got this guy, he had no split leaves. He only had these type of leaves that, you know, didn't have any split, but now he's got a few split leaves, which is great. And yeah, so this was actually literally the size of what I got a year ago with this Walmart one. And now check this guy out. I'm gonna see if I can take him out of this decorative pot. Ta-da! Look how massive he is. So this guy, I am so proud of this guy, and the reason why I'm so proud of him is because you know, when I first got the Monstera, and I think most people are intimidated by this particular plant, they are actually not very difficult to care for, as long as you follow the general rules when it comes to taking care of any houseplant. So when it comes to lighting, these particular houseplants love a lot of bright light. I have a south-facing window, floor to ceiling, so I get a lot of natural bright light. But when I first got him, when he was smaller, what I did is actually I put him as close to the window as I can, because I know the bright light will help promote a lot of the split leaves that he has now. So that really helped get this guy to grow as big as he is now. The only thing I made a mistake on, and you guys should be careful with, is making sure they don't get any direct sunlight, because what will happen is they will get burnt. They are prone to getting sunburnt, and I've actually had a couple of them burnt a few times, so I had to snip off the leaf. I was really sad about it, but you know, it was a learning experience for me, because you know, I was so impatient, and I really wanted these guys to grow big, and I wanted them to have as many split leaves as possible. So I put them in a lot of bright light, but he ended up getting a bit of direct sunlight, so that was not good. Just make sure if you do have direct sunlight and you want to give them a lot of that bright light, just put a screen or some filtering, so that way they don't get they don't get burnt. So yeah, so that's what I do when it comes to lighting. When it comes to watering, I actually will water this guy only when he is 100% dry, and actually I'll even wait a couple of days after I know he's dry before I water him, and I will water him thoroughly, making sure that the water seeps through the entire nursery pot and up the bottom, So make sure all your pots have drainage holes. So I'll typically use about a gallon of water. I'll let water pass through twice, and then I'll put it back in his decorative pot. I'll also actually wipe down his leaves every other week, just because they do collect dust. So I'll use a soft cloth and water, and what you want to do is just wipe them gently, so that way no dust is blocking their ability to capture the light, which is very important for any plants you have that have a lot of giant leaves. It's important to keep them clean. But yeah, so that's my lighting and watering tips. When it comes to fertilizer, I actually only use fertilizer in this guy once a month, and only during the growing season. So I use a liquid fertilizer with a 10-15-10 solution base, and I'll just put in his watering can, fill it up with water, and then I'll water him when it's time to water the guy, obviously. But yeah, so that's what I use for my liquid for fertilizer. When it comes to soil, I actually have never repotted this guy yet. He's been in his nursery pot since I got him last year. I did repot this guy a few times. And when it comes to the soil I use, I typically will always do a mix of premium potting mix and cacti soil to help with the drainage. You obviously want to make sure your plants are getting all the nutrients they need from the soil, but I also want to make sure that the soil has well drainage. So I'll also throw in a bit of perlite, because the number one plant killer is always root rot, and you never ever want to overwater your plants, and you definitely do not want your plants to be sitting in water, because that is what will cause them to have root rot and they will die. So that is what I do for soil, and that's the type of soil we're actually going to use for the repotting of the baby Thai Constellation. But yeah, that is about it when it comes to taking care of these houseplants. They're very, very easy. By the way, I've had people ask me about this moss pole, right? And why do you need a moss pole on your Monstera? So Monstera plants are typically, they're climbers. They love to climb. Out in the wild, they will climb to their neighboring plants or neighboring trees. They will climb to walls, rocks, whatever they can grab, whatever they can get their aerial root to grab onto. And that is why I put a moss pole on this guy, because I actually want this one to grow up instead of growing wild. But this guy right here, he doesn't have a moss pole. I actually want him to grow wild, but I'm actually rethinking that because he's taking up a lot of space in my living room. So maybe by spring I might put a moss pole so that way he can grow up, and it'll look pretty cool, get him up all the way to the ceiling. But yeah, that is about it. If you guys have any other questions on how to care for the Monstera, be sure to comment below. Let me know and I will answer them as soon as I can. So now let's get into repotting these baby Thai Constellation Monstera. Hey guys, so here we are ready to repot this guy and this guy. So I got two baby Thai Constellation Monstera about a couple months ago, and these I actually got from a friend of mine out here in Toronto. She cloned these guys from her mother plant. Grew in some Thai laboratory, flew all the way here to Canada, and they had to obviously make sure they were climatized so they can survive before she was able to actually part ways with them. And I wanted to make sure before I repot this guy that he was climatized to my environment, my home. So I kept him in his pot, which is about a 2-inch right now, and monitor this guy. I just did not want to risk obviously him dying, but he's growing really, really well. This is actually a new leaf. Look how big it is already. And then this one has a new leaf coming here, so that's really exciting. So I figured it's probably time to now move them up to, from a 2-inch pot to a 4-inch pot. And the other thing I forgot to mention about Monstera is I think they actually like to be crowded in their pot. That is why I've never repotted the one from Walmart, because he's doing well considering his nursery pot has been there probably for about a year and a half now. So that is why I did not want to move up to a bigger pot size for this guy, because I just want him to get comfortable here, and then maybe next spring or the year after I will move him up to a bigger size depending on how fast he grows. But yeah, so again, when it comes to repotting and the soil I will use, like I mentioned, I will use 50% premium potting mix, 45% cacti soil, and then 5% of perlite, and mix that well, so that way these guys can have a lot of drainage. So let's do that. So when it comes to repotting, you know, what you want to do is kind of just pinch your pot around, so that way you can loosen this guy up, and then gently tap the bottom. Let's see if this guy will come out. I don't want to yank him. He's not coming out. Okay. All right, this one's being stubborn, so I'm gonna have to go to my backup plan. Hold on. Scissors. So I guess what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna trim this guy around. That way I can get there. I wanna be careful. You never wanna snip any roots, because these guys are so fragile right now. They're just babies, and they're very, very delicate. So let's see if I can get this guy out now. Ooh, there it is. Alrighty, got him out. Okay, so there he is right now. And normally what I will do is I will actually get a toothpick and loosen the soil up. But again, because these guys are so fragile, I don't want to do that and potentially cause damage to the roots. So I'm just gonna put him in this pot and then just put soil and then water him and let his roots naturally grow through the soil. And we'll do that right now. So, perfect. Again, when it comes to repotting, I always want to make sure I leave about ½ an inch below the pot line, so that way when you do water him, he doesn't overfill. But yeah, so I just put him in here, and I'm gonna throw soil and pack him in there. The one thing when it comes to repotting as well is I actually don't like to pack the soil really tight, because again, you know, you want to make sure your water can drain through your soil. You never want them to be holding moisture too long, because again, you don't want root rot. So let's do this. Ta-da! There you guys have it. That is how easy it is to repot these guys. And yeah, they're still babies, so that does make it a little bit easier. Imagine repotting that big guy over there. But yeah, that is about it. If you guys have any other questions about Monstera Deliciosa, be sure to comment below, ask away, and I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. I think what I want to do actually with that, the smaller Monstera, my first one, I might do a propagation of Monstera maybe in the next couple of weeks. Let me know if you guys want to see that video, because I noticed that one of the stems is starting to grow really far out, which is a great opportunity because I see about 2 or 3 aerial roots, so I can make about 2 or 3 plants out of that one. But yeah, comment below, let me know if you want to see that. Other than that, hopefully you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.